Yeah. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Drupal's Social API. Joined by Valentin and Mateo. Is that how you say your name?
Mateo.
Mateo by Valentin and got to take that out. Mateo. Is that how you say your name? Right.
Wow, echoes from the past. So, hey, Valentin, how was the summit? You were at the Google Summit last week, right?
It was great. It was great. Yeah. Perfect.
Okay.
So there are people around me, so they are talking some, and you can hear them.
Don't worry. So what did you do at the summit? I don't know what you're supposed to do there.
Okay, we basically went to Google offices in Montevideo and had some conversation with Google engineers about some projects they're working on. Then the next day we have like a tour around San Francisco, and in Wednesday we went to the Google offices, but the one that is in San Francisco. And after that, yeah, that's all we did. I think maybe more, but I don't remember. Yeah, it was great.
Nice. So did you have the chance to meet a lot of people?
Yes, we have like more people from India and United States because most of the winners are from there. So, but it was great. I met people from Latin America, Asia, Europe, and other places that I don't remember now.
Cool. So, sounds like you had a very good time there.
Yes.
Good. I think it's very important to keep in mind the personal approach. It's not just about the code. It's not about the technical challenge. I know that for a person like you and maybe like me, the challenge, solving the puzzle, it's a very important part to it. But at the end, there are so many puzzles and places where you can do this. You can do it alone. You can do it in other communities. And the one very important part is the community. So these social events are extremely important. I'm thinking, because I've never gone to any Google Summer of Code Summit. It sounds really cool. I'm thinking about DrupalCons. I'm thinking about Drupal camps and meetups and etc. So yeah, I'm happy that you got to experience that.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd sort of echo that thing about outreach, about I guess we want to get other developers involved, so I think it would be good if we could talk about that as well in this call. That would be cool.
All right. Do you have any ideas on how we can reach to more people to get them involved in the project?
Well, I wanted to ask, because I know that there's an issue of hosting, which we need to talk about, but there was also an issue of blogging, and I know I had a quick chat to Valentin about this, and I just wanted to see how we could expand that. I mean, from what you said, Valentin, I understand it's harder to post on the groups.drupal.org. But what I'm wondering is, can we utilize that? I know it's kind of, sometimes it feels like a bit of a graveyard there, like people are not actually listening. And that's not just for the social initiative, but also for other places too. And I don't know what the best way is. I guess things that I'm thinking, if I also understand that there's the issue about Drupal Planet and getting it out there, which is really important, really cool. I wouldn't mind doing some little investigation with you guys because you're more technical. I know you can set up taxonomies on the groups. If we then created one that, I don't know if you then create feeds from the taxonomies that you can then publish to Drupal Planet. I don't know.
Yes.
I know I did take the source code of the first post you made, Valentin, and the HTML, and I copied that into the groups, and it was pretty much equal. So there's several things we could do. You can carry on posting on your blog, and then we just copy it over and post it on the groups as well. And also we can send it to not only to the social initiative, but also other Drupal groups as well, perhaps. Just to get some slightly more, but if we can get Drupal Planet to work from the groups, then we could just do it there. There's also an issue around, this is useful stuff to actually store within kind of the properties that we already have made. So I'm interested in that, even if it's just a copy of, then to repost there would then at least. I'm confident that the groups is going to stay up a long time, whereas, no disrespect, but your interests may waver and go on to other projects. I don't know. Just saying that. What do you reckon? Any comments?
So what basically you recommend is to post all this weekly summary in the Drupal groups of the social initiative, like copying and paste there the content.
If there are reasons why you don't want to post the original there, yes, it then make a copy of it, just so that then it's if you want to post the original there and then point people to the social initiative, then even better, because then we can all, everyone's there, and that we can get potentially some more interest. That's why I set it up, was so to be a focal point. If there are reasons why you don't want to do that, fine. Let's talk about that and see where the negatives are. It's not the most important thing. What I try and do is try and keep things in one place, so I can point people to things rather than going all over the place. And yeah,
I would say that maybe a link is enough. Just, hey, this happened this week. This is linked to the post, and that's pretty much it. I would say that there are many things that we could be doing, and marketing is completely out of my skills. It's not. I don't have any expertise.
I understand.
In that.
Could you say what is not? We could just post a link, but what is the reason why we wouldn't post the original or a copy of it on actually Drupal on the groups page?
There is no reason. We could put a copy of it, but then if you edit that, you need to also edit the other one, etc. It may not be a big deal. I don't know if that will ever happen. Editing an old blog post is not something that happens a lot, but I don't see a reason why not to do it. I mean, we could do it. Actually, anyone could do it. Anyone could go to Valentin's blog and copy it, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm just up for understanding what may either the technical reasons or the particular reasons, or if there are other reasons like ownership of stuff or whatever. I'm up for hearing them. But for me, as a kind of a more marketing person, it allows me to sort of focus people on one place, and all of our efforts are going into that place, and then that's for me the advantage of doing it, rather than it being too all over the place.
Makes sense. It makes sense. So would that be the only action item that you see in that regard for the outreach?
Absolutely not. I want to check whether we can post, whether we can use the taxonomy on the groups to post to Drupal Planet. And I understand that's important. And if not, then we can't replace the blog that your own blog, Valentin. It's up to you as well. If you want it to be on your blog, then
I think that is a requirement for Google.
Yeah, the requirement is that the blog post should be in one personal blog, because Drupal or a Drupal or a group cannot have feeds, and you cannot actually edit and add some stuff. It's easier if you have your own personal blog that you can modify and edit the way you want to do it.
Are you sure about that? Because I know that you can do feeds from the group.
I think that the reason is also that they need to make sure that there is kind of an enforced authorship, like this is Valentin's blog. This is not the Drupal's community blog. This is Valentin's project.
I have no issues with adding like a license and say, hey, this is a Creative Commons content. You can add whatever you want to do it. I can add like this is a Creative Commons content and just post it again in Drupal's social initiative group.
That's not the issue for me, just so you know. That's not the issue. It's more about just making it easy for people to get it. If it was, yeah, I mean, I suppose, and also I'm thinking about throughout, the life of this project, which may last for a number of years, and my concern is that what you're creating, which is awesome work, gets lost if that blog dies for any reason. So we could post a link to it, or we could just repost the content with a link to the original, maybe.
I would say that we're kind of in agreement that the best way to proceed is for Valentin to add a note, a footer, or something saying that the content in the blog is Creative Commons. Feel free to reuse it, modify it, or whatever the license he wants. And also, when a post gets created in Valentin's blog, it also goes to Drupal groups. Is that correct?
That serves my purpose. I don't really.
Okay.
I don't mind about the first bit, but if you want to put that in, great. And yeah, that's brilliant. So Valentin, if you could repost your blog post to Drupal groups, then that would be awesome. And we'll see if we can add other groups in on that, like the Facebook group or whatever. Yeah, cool. Are we done with that?
Awesome. Sorry, I wanted to welcome Andrew. I saw that you joined.
Hi, Andrew.
Hey guys, how are you doing? I see you're having fun. Yeah, as I understood, you were discussing some blog posts and where it should go regarding Google requirements.
Yeah, so I don't know if you have the full story, but the summary is that Valentin here is doing most of the work, I would say all of the work, due to his grant with Google Summer of Code. And one of the things that he has to do is to post about the weekly progress that he makes during this project, the project being enhancing the social API for Drupal. And in order to do some marketing improvements, we were thinking on centralizing the information in Drupal groups as well. So having both in Valentin's blog, because that's a requirement for his grant, and also in Drupal.org. Daniel, I'm interested to move on, and we have only 8 minutes left. But please, if you have any other idea regarding how to increase outreach, I believe that you have access to Trello. you can add cards there if they are actionable items, and feel free to assign to yourself, to anyone that you want. And guys, if someone gets assigned a card that they don't want to do, and you don't want to do that card, just feel free and unassign yourself. So I would say that that is a good way to.
Call? Is it only 30 minutes?
Only 30 minutes. We try to limit it to 30 minutes. You are more than welcome to stay, but I need to leave.
I have a question, Mateo. I cannot add releases in the projects you created in Drupal.
Not yet. I gave you access. Have you ever created a release before?
Yes, but I cannot do it with those projects. I can do it with the social API, but not with the social auth, social widgets, nor social.
Okay, I'm looking into it as we speak.
That's the only.
Okay. So, do you have any progress to comment while I'm doing this on the technical part? What did you have achieved, and where you want to go next?
Okay, comparing with the last time we have the meeting, not so much progress as because I wasn't working on it because I was in the United States, but I'm the maintainer of the faithful like button, and I ported the functionality of the module to work with the social API and social widgets. So we have the first widget working with the project, and I'm working with Google authentication to use, like, we say that we're gonna work with Facebook and Google in order to check if the abstraction is working fine.
Yes.
So I'm working out on the.
Okay. Are you finding any significant issues that you feel that there were due to lack of abstraction? Sorry. Let me rephrase that. Did you need to improve the abstraction layers so you could fit in Google as well?
Yeah, it works perfectly, I think. I haven't had issues so far, and the only thing I need to do now is to save the user information in the database. But I have done the authentication, and it works perfectly with the abstraction layer we have now.
Wow, quick work.
The only difference with Google is that they have different kind of services. You have objects for Google Plus, for OAuth, for YouTube, but we are concerned about the login and registration with Google accounts. So that's not a major issue after all.
I saw that you had said Google Plus instead of Twitter because it was kind of more parallel with Facebook, and that I can understand that. Is there some way that we could perhaps, obviously Twitter is, I would say, more widely used than Google Plus. I don't know what you think, but I'm wondering, is there something we can do to get Twitter on board? Maybe even try and go out to the community and say, can we get someone to work on Twitter? Is it worth doing that, or would that be too confusing at the moment?
We actually chose Google because you don't need to have or be active on Google Plus to log in with Google, because if you create your Gmail account, you already have a Google account. So most people have a Gmail account than a Twitter account, I think.
And also, I would add, if you don't mind, that after all, Google is putting the monies, and it's kind of a wink to them.
You're very right, Mateo. You're very right.
Besides,
forget that.
It's a good idea to include Google for us, because I think that is more used than Google for Post or Google for Widgets.
Yeah.
So I want to, or I think it's a good idea to include several examples and not concentrate on just Facebook and Twitter, but get a taste of different places. So we make sure that at the technical level we can encompass every variation, every style of libraries,
okay.
etc.
I need just to reiterate my question, which was in no way stopping Google. Google is great. Let's have Google. I wasn't ever suggesting you don't.
Yeah. That was clear.
What I was suggesting was, because your time is limited, is there a reason, or would it be good for us to try and find some other people to work on Twitter right now, or would that be too confusing for the process? Should we just stick with you doing Facebook and Google Plus, or should we try and get someone else to work with you on Twitter? How does that sound?
I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, that it kind of feels a little bit easier to ask for help if we have reliable examples. So I would say we have Facebook, we're gonna have Google, and then when those are kind of more stable, we can bring someone in and say, hey, we have these two cool examples.
Okay.
If you want to do Twitter, that's a very good way to collaborate.
Okay.
Otherwise, it can be a little bit overwhelming.
And actually, one big part of the project should be about documenting the way it works. And I added that into my project proposal, so I should work on the documentation before involving someone else who work from scratch in a new implementator.
Do we have a timeline document anywhere that kind of details when, one thing I was going to ask is when this project finishes, when you'll have some documentation, not all of it, but some that would enable us to then bring other people in, to then kind of mentor them, because what would be really cool is before the end of this project would be to try and strike up a few people doing a few projects so that we got the ball rolling.
An alternative to a timeline would be kind of doing this weekly check, like, hey guys, I got the documentation. This week I did the documentation. Oh, cool. Do you think that it's now time to onboard someone or try to reach for people?
Yeah, the reason I want timeline is so I can schedule my holidays.
Okay.
Well, I don't even know. I'd like to know when this ends. How many more months do we have for this? For example,
we are in the middle of the process, I guess. So because we have the midterm evaluation, and there is a timeline in the project proposal.
Okay.
In the Google Doc. Mm-hmm. But I can add it in the Trello.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll add it there, or yes, or you add it and inform me. But basically, the outreach and maybe even bringing other people in 2 weeks before the end, just so if we aim to do that, if it's an 8-week project, right, then bringing people in 2 weeks before the end, then we aim to kind of mentor some people just to fire them up a bit. That would be my aim, because then we can get the ball rolling. Because once the money stops, I mean I don't know what your commitment's going to be, but it's fair enough that you'll need to make money or do studies or have a life. So
a couple of thoughts on that. I think that you can access that timeline in Valentin's proposal in the Google Summer of Code site. But yeah, posting a link in Trello is kind of a good thing to have anyways. And regarding the second thing, I think that I've got to know a little bit about Valentin, and I have the impression that he's not just gonna vanish when.
Me too.
So I mean, yes, this ends, the scholarship ends, but the project is still there.
Even though I have to be honest that I will be less active because after summer of code I will be in the application process for the universities, but around February I will be working hard again on the project. But doesn't mean that I will vanish actually, but just I will be less active on it.
It's fair enough.
That's fair. So guys, I kind of need to leave. So one last thing is that we're trying to merge efforts. Andrew just said a little bit earlier that there's an effort on porting hybrid auth. We are also joining efforts with Marcus Sipila for the simple Facebook Connect module to integrate it with the social API. We're trying to nail down a day to meet, but it was supposed to be at that time today, but finally that couldn't work. So we are gonna work with the simple Facebook Connect team in that regard, and just make sure that everyone has the outlets that they need to collaborate with this. And I'm thinking about Andrew, if you have anything that you want to know on how to collaborate, where to start, how to get up to speed with the things that we have been doing, or even propose new things to do, just ping me, ping Valentin or Daniel or anyone. I need to leave now, but we can schedule something else for next week.
Can I ask, can Valentin and Andrew stay? Do you need to rush off?
No, I can stay.
Great.
I can stay a little more.
Yeah, well, let's do as much as we can, and then see if we can sort of arrange something for it. So everything is always good for Fridays, right? Fridays are the way forward now.
Yes, it's okay.
Cool.
Guys, don't have so much fun without me. Well, anyways, I'm gonna check it out after
next
the video.
Okay.
Okay, see you on YouTube.
Ciao now. Bye bye. So yeah, we've got a bit more time to, I guess, get input, or I guess you guys should just speak to each other and see where we can get to on yeah, working with other groups of people, and what information do we need to pass to connect that. For me, you know, there was lots of places where we can connect, but like email or this or Hangout or Skype or IRC or wherever, it's just arranging times and places. Andrew, do you have any kind of questions or anything that you want to ask?
Well, I actually don't want to disrupt you like a big time, but basically I was working with social things like many times. I wrote several social logins modules and also several social sharing modules, and I might be helpful to you like in identifying the pain points, like what architecture is working like good and what architecture is working like bad. And I can tell you about like the main pain point I have in hybrid auth module.
Yeah.
It is basically internationalization or like multiple domains. So basically everything is good, but once the site has a requirement like working on multiple domains, like the same code base, the same like configuration storage, the same Drupal site is handling like multiple domains, and not just like the same top level domain and then subdomains, but like different domains for different languages or maybe for different countries and so on. And basically you should think about it ahead of time, because then you have the architecture and the settings already like laid out. It's very difficult to approach the multi-domain and multi-language configuration. Like for the same provider, for instance, Facebook or Google, you might need to actually register different applications for different sites or domains or language domains. So we need to think about how we should structure the configuration for the social applications we will definitely have, like how to extend it into many subdomains, many languages, and so on. So this is the pain point that is not actually resolved yet, and I don't have like a good or solid approach on how to do that. Maybe it will be a big disruption to your workflow on what you are actually focusing now, but basically just keep it in mind.
Just on that, Valentin, you're muted, by the way. You muted yourself, but you could. I don't know how you want to work, Valentin, but why not create an issue within the social API and then discuss it there, and then at least it's tracked. That issue is tracked. I don't know how else to do that. I mean, yeah. Sorry, go for it, Valentin.
Andrew, I remember I installed the hybrid out module to test it, and when I want to log in with a social account, and actually when I install it, I didn't have to configure any app ID or app secret. How was the app providing those data to the authentication layer in the social networking service?
Well, basically, it might be that you just missed it. If I can share my screen.
Go for it.
Yeah, go for it.
Like this one. Do you see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, if we will go to the demo site I have for the hybrid auth. Yep. Basically, here you can check. Oh, what's with my internet? Here you can check what providers are available, sort them, and then each provider has a settings link actually. And it might be that you missed this link, and after getting there you have app ID, app secret, and everything for every provider.
Okay, I get it.
And I don't know if you looked like through architecture of the current hybrid auth implementation. It basically uses plugins. So every provider is a plugin, like with some default settings from, but the actual plugin, realizing the provider, can add like advanced settings here, like for Facebook we have more settings and so on. It might help you to like, I don't know.
Valentin, are we using hybrid auth, or have you decided to build sort of like an equivalent but somehow more flexible? Because I remember you saying you wanted to abstract it more so we weren't reliant on hybrid, that we could use hybrid and then use other ones, yeah?
Yeah, we can the idea is to kind of enable the ability to use either the hybrid auth library and the like Twitter library, PHP library, or Facebook PHP libraries. You can use whichever you want to use.
Yeah. So the work that's gone into the hybrid auth interface, is that something that is automatically reused if you use hybrid auth, or I mean, is that something that we can use or want to use, or what's your opinion?
It will be difficult to readapt hybrid auth into the social auth layer, because it basically uses the hybrid auth library and has some particularities that you have to work on. But what we can do is, instead of having the social auth, we can also provide the hybrid auth version for Drupal 8. I'll show you what I mean with that. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So the user can pick and choose, and it's still all compatible.
Yeah, you want to use it. You want to use the social auth with some implementators, you can. But if you want to use the hybrid auth, which brings everything, and you select, you can also do it.
Is there a way? Is there a way that one day these things could be harmonized? I mean, it seems. Is there any reason why they should be harmonized, or is it something that you and Andrew could maybe just look at, or is it just not enough time at this stage to in order to build the system?
I don't really see the code so deeply, but I think we can somehow manage to integrate it, but not at this point.
Yeah.
After the Google Summer of Code, maybe. But what I meant is, like, we have here the three main links for social implementators, and you can add another one which can be hybrid auth, and then have the same configuration environment that Andrew showed now.
Right.
But the other option is to open like user authentication, and you have your implementers. In this case, Simple Facebook Connect.
Yeah.
And you have the. And
couldn't where you are right now in terms of user authentication, couldn't that implement, rather than having another place for hybrid auth to occur, couldn't you implement hybrid auth within that interface, so it can actually, so hybrid auth can plug into that interface? That's what I guess. That's what my first thoughts are.
If we want to implement the hybrid auth module inside the social API architecture, we might need to change some.
Got it.
Some aspect of the hybrid auth module. But if you want to implement the hybrid auth library, we can do it like Composer and some modules called the code, or use the code.
Okay, that's very clear. I totally understand what you mean there. Yeah.
I don't know what Andrew think about it.
Well, we should like understand that there is a hybrid auth library that is some external stuff that the PHP community is writing on GitHub. It's like a separate thing. And then there is some code to integrate it into Drupal that I wrote. And basically the whole interface, like graphical interface, user interface, to set up the application settings like IDs and secret codes and other stuff, this is like not related to the library at all. It's a custom stuff. So basically you can be free to just look at the UI that is already implemented in the hybrid auth module and probably reuse some ideas. Because basically what I'm saying is that like Facebook application settings, like you register application on Facebook, you get the ID, the secret, authentication, and so on. It doesn't matter if you are using hybrid auth library or not. It's basically these settings that you should allow other modules to store inside some configuration. Like, what I mean is that you should provide means to store configuration, like another module implementing, for instance, Twitter, needs to store some Twitter application configuration inside Drupal, like Twitter application ID, secret, and other stuff. And your social API should provide this storage to that module.
So I guess my one question here, because that's what I kind of look at, is what is the place of integration between the people here involved? Is Andrew, I hear you giving advice to Valentin. That's really useful. Is this what is your interest in actually working on the social API? And obviously, it may be too soon for Valentin for the reasons we discussed about documentation. But are you interested? I've just got to ask this: are you interested in making what you've done with hybrid auth more compatible directly with the social API, or how? Yeah, or is it just that you're just interested? Yeah, there you go.
Well, I'm trying just to find connection points still.
Right.
Basically, I don't know if I should say it or not. I was not really optimistic about the idea of like writing this whole social API thing in one place, like integrating it, because basically there are like 10 modules for social authentication, for Drupal 7, for instance, and then like 50 modules for social sharing.
Yeah.
Different icons, and to get it under one roof is a really challenging idea.
Yeah.
And I just want to see how you approach it and maybe help with some advices. And basically, the main point of getting into this is that the company I'm working on and our clients, they will need some time in the future the social authentication for Drupal 8.
Yeah.
And we need to be on top of it, and we need to understand how to better implement it.
Yeah.
So that is why I'm like trying to get inside it and trying to understand where it's all moving. And another thing is that we should collaborate on that, because basically I have heard like 5 to 7 requests from different people in issue queues or directly messaging me about when do you think the hybrid auth will be ported to Drupal 8, and when can we start using the
Is hybrid auth currently being ported or not yet being ported, or what?
Well, I did not do a single step in porting it to Drupal 8. But just like several days ago, the two guys created an issue in hybrid auth module queue that they are currently doing that in some sandbox. And so that is the up-to-date information I have. But there were like 5 to 7 requests coming from different sources on like social authentication for Drupal 8.
Sure. Let me ask a question to Valentin, really. I guess my desire has always been for this, to bring together developers to work in harmony on kind of like abstraction layers. And so I guess the question to you is how, obviously, you have a remit and you need to be able to do what you're doing, but my desire is always going to be to try and push you to work with other people. And so yeah, so I kind of like you to kick back on that. Can we get other people to work with you at this stage, even if the documentation is non-existent? Would that be too much of a drain or a stress on you? And can I help? There you go.
Okay, is that a question for me or for Andrew?
Yeah, for you, Valentin. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I actually started to work on the implementation of the social auth and social post based on the code that Mateo wrote first. So I basically learned by looking at the code, because so it might be possible that other people can start working by just reading the code, but it will take more time than just using a documentation that someone wrote.
I understand. I guess the real question is, if we went out to Andrew and other developers that are working on this already, like the Drupal 8 port of hybrid auth, and said, hey, why don't you come and work with us on a more unified approach can we do that instead? My question to you, Valentin, is like, is that okay? Is that going to just create too much stress for you, or in managing or interacting with other people? That it's a real question about like you're working. I don't know. I'm not a developer, so I don't know how that would work for you.
No, it won't affect so much because to do some modification to the
Sorry.
yeah, it won't affect so much because to do some changes in the actual code, in the current code, there should be an issue created and we should discuss about it first. So
great.
If the abstraction is not working and we need to change something, they have to create a new issue in the issue queue.
Well, because I'm kind of a matchmaker, then I'll go to. That's great, Valentin. So to go to Andrew and say, well, Andrew, you suggested talking to the D8 guys, but they're going to look up to you because you're you've done a lot of work on, or I don't know, you're the creator of Hybrid or module. So how about you gather them together and come into the social API? I don't know about the politics or whatever, but is that a workable method?
Sure, I will definitely talk to them because basically they are requesting maintainership, and I will definitely be reviewing their code.
Yeah.
And the thought that I have is basically this one. They are working for some company, and they have some business goals. Implement this for some client, and generally this is how it works. Something good starts like we needed it for our client, we started working on it, and then we did that. So I will definitely tell them that there is another initiative that tries to like generalize the approach and change some things in Drupal 8, how we do that. So maybe you will be interested in that. And the effect might be different depending on what they think about it. So I would say you should like plan your things and implement them and be just open, meaning that you should definitely have like documentation and some general thoughts on issue queue or in some open like resources that everyone can access and read about it and chime in if he wants to.
Yeah, there's nothing closed. It's all open. Everything.
Yeah. Keep doing that, and there will be success. So basically, then I started Hybrid Alpha like several years ago. There was like no good authentication module, so there was some connector, but I didn't actually understand how it got so many installs, because basically it was just included into Commerce Kickstart. Maybe that's why it got so many installations. But just keep going, and the guys will be just appearing, disappearing, and someone will contribute something. It's like usual. And just don't let these events like disappoint you or anything.
No, it's okay.
You have your goal, just go to it and try to make it as generalized as you can. Try to think about it in some abstraction ways, and
I think that's what Valentin's doing, and I think any help on the code or any review of the code, I'm sure, will be appreciated. Absolutely.
And I would prioritize things like you have the goal, like keep priority on that. Getting more developers involved, it's like a sub goal or like side goal you have. So basically, it's not the thing you should focus most of your time on. Just be open, and then developers will come.
Okay, that's good to know, because then that makes it very, very clear. Okay, thanks, Andrew. Valentin.
Sorry, I need to go. Just.
Okay. Have fun. Goodbye.
Bye.
Valentin, we'll finish now, but I just want to do a couple of things. One, you said you needed hosting, and I'm assuming that's not for the blog. That's for doing demonstrations. Yes.
Yes, but I can do some demonstrations on my own, on my personal domain. But if we have a hosting that is for the social initiative, we can kind of do a website and add documentation in that website, which is like drupalsocialinitiative.org or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, I'm guessing your opinion of the Drupal groups is not too good, because I just have tended to try and put it in there or into the issues or into Google Docs, but I'm open. I tend to stay away from like setting up a website. My experience of setting up websites is that they have, when you try and upgrade them or you have issues with them or the hosting, then you might lose stuff. And that's my concern, is to stick with probably infrastructure that will not need too much maintenance, or, you know, that kind of thing. That's my concern of actually building a website to host documentation. So does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
What I was thinking of is I can add you as a editor in the blog, and you can copy the content if you like in the Drupal group page.
Cool. If you want to do it that way, I was going to ask you to do it, but if you want me to,
Yeah, I need to create a user for you. Yeah, that's not an issue.
Is it okay? Is it okay to ask you to do that? Would it be okay to do that? Just to do a quick copy afterwards?
Yes, because yeah, we aim the GSoC project and the GSoC. I don't know, the thing that Matthew wants us to do, which is post some weekly summary that is you are, in which it is stated that you are the author.
Yeah.
And you are working on a project. And if I do that, you can then post it in the Drupal group page. And I will just add a license notification so we avoid issues, which I don't know which kind of issues, but it's better to avoid.
Okay, so I hear that you don't want to repost the posts into the Drupal group, because I would prefer that you did it, because then it means that I can concentrate on other things. But if you think it's too much of an overhead,
okay, I will.
I would appreciate that. I'd appreciate if you repost, just because I've got enough. Okay, I think we're done, aren't we?
Yeah. See you next week.
See you next week. Yeah. So could you repost the first 4 that you've done so far? Would that be cool?
Okay.
Thank you. And I'll ask some people for hosting if we can look at that. But I think the demo, we have the demo for we have the demo that you can use just to try things out. Cool. Thanks, man.
Thanks to you. See you.
You take care. Cheers.
Care.
Bye.